Visit a pond or coastal marsh and look for an all-white bird. Slightly smaller than a great blue heron, with black legs and a yellow bill. It may be wading slowly or standing stock still, peering intently at the water as it searches for fish. The elegant great egret is a dazzling sight. In many North American wetlands, slightly smaller and more svelte than a great blue heron. These are still large birds with impressive wingspans. They hunt in classic heron fashion, standing immobile or wading through wetlands to capture fish with a deadly jab of their yellow bill. Great egrets were hunted nearly to extinction for their plumes in the late 19th century, sparking conservation movements and some of the first laws to protect birds. The great egret is the symbol of the National Audubon Society, one of the oldest environmental organizations in North America. Audubon was founded to protect birds from being killed for their feathers. The pristinely white great egret gets even more dressed up. For the breeding season, a patch of skin on its face turns neon green, and long plumes grow from its back, called egrets. Those plumes were the bane of egrets in the late 19th century, when such adornments were prized for ladies' hats. This craze for feathers led to the slaughter of huge numbers of great egrets and other birds. Entire colonies of breeding great egrets and other waders were shot by plume hunters. Their young left to starve. More than 300 dead great egrets provided just a few pounds of feathers. So hundreds of thousands were indiscriminately killed, causing steep declines. As concerned citizens and early conservationists began to publicize this slaughter, pressure mounted to stop commercial bird hunting for the plume industry. By 1897, the newly formed Massachusetts Audubon Society helped convince the Massachusetts legislature to outlaw the wild bird feather trade. Soon, other Audubon societies formed around the United States, which led to the creation of the National Audubon Society. Not all young that hatch survive the nestling period. Aggression among nestlings is common and large chicks frequently kill their smaller siblings. This behavior, known as siblicide, is not uncommon among birds such as hawks, owls, and herons, and is often a result of poor breeding conditions. In mixed species colonies, great egrets are often the first species to arrive, and their presence may induce nesting among other species. Great egrets fly slowly but powerfully. With just 2 wing beats per second, their cruising speed is around 25 miles an hour. Most of the great egret's harsh-sounding vocalizations are heard during its courtship displays, and in the nesting colony, it also voices a harsh-sounding low call when disturbed. The great egret, like so many of its kin, is an omnivore. It eats mainly small fish but also consumes amphibians, reptiles, birds, and small mammals, as well as invertebrates including crayfish, shrimp, dragonflies, and grasshoppers. Although usually associated with water, great egrets occasionally hunt on land, in grassy areas or mown fields. Though it mainly hunts while wading, the great egret occasionally swims to capture prey or hovers somewhat laboriously over the water and dips for fish. The oldest known great egret was 22 years, 10 months old, and was banded in Ohio. You'll find great egrets in both freshwater and saltwater habitats. They are colonial nesters, typically placing stick nests high in trees, often on islands that are isolated from mammalian predators such as raccoons. In mixed colonies, great egrets tend to nest high. Male selects nest area and displays there, at first driving away all other birds. Later courting females, courtship displays include calling, circular display flight, stretching neck up with bill pointed skyward. The graceful, all-white great egret stands over 3 feet tall, with a lissom, scurved neck, dagger-like yellow bill, and long black legs. This cosmopolitan wading bird is a common sight in wetlands around the world, where it is also known as the common, American, or great white egret, or white heron. The great egret becomes even more beautiful in its breeding plumage, developing long, delicate plumes that the bird fans during displays. These lacy feathers are known as aigrettes, a French word that is the source of the great egret's English common name. For great egret subspecies are distributed across the Americas, Southern Europe, Asia, Africa, Australasia, and Oceania. In the Americas, the great egret is a short-distance migrant, leaving northern breeding areas for warmer wintering spots free of ice. Like many other wading birds, this species migrates south during the day in small flocks. The unrestrained slaughter caused by the plume trade and other market hunting led to the creation of new bird conservation laws, including the Migratory Bird Treaty Act 1918. Once protections were in place, great egret numbers began to rebound, like the wood duck and bald eagle. This species recovery is an inspiring conservation success story. In the U.S., much of the great egret's remaining habitat falls within national wildlife refuges and other protected areas. Protection and restoration of these wetlands are critical for the long-term survival of this beautiful heron. Policies enacted by the U.S. Congress and federal agencies, such as the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, have a huge impact on migratory birds. You can help shape these rules for the better by telling lawmakers to prioritize birds, bird habitat, and bird-friendly measures. To get started, visit ABC's Action Center. Living a bird-friendly life can have an immediate impact on migratory birds in the United States. Doing so can be as easy as adding native plants to your garden, avoiding pesticides, and keeping cats indoors. To learn more, visit abcbirds.org. Thanks for watching.